Hello everyone, in this video we're going to start looking at how to find least common multiples. Alright, so in our first example, I want us to find the LCM, least common multiple, of 16 and 50. Alright, so when you're just finding the least common multiple between two numbers, there's a couple of different methods you can use. I want to introduce one called the half box method. Alright, so this is the way I want us to find the LCM between numbers. So the way this half box method works is we're going to take our numbers, we write them down, we put a little half box around them. Now, we are going to divide these numbers by a prime factor that goes into either one or both of these numbers. So, because they're both even, I know I can use 2 first. And so when I divide 16 by 2, I get 8. 50 divided by 2 gives me 25. Now we put our half box around our new numbers and we repeat the process. We repeat this process until both of these numbers inside of the half box are 1s. So again, I'm going to use 2 again. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now 25, 2 does not go into 25 evenly, so we're actually just going to keep the 25. And now we use 2 again. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Again, it doesn't go into 25 evenly, so we keep our 25. Now I'm going to use 2 one more time. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 does not go into 25, so I keep the 25. Now I have the 1 there, so I'm done with that number. Now my focus is to try to turn the 25 into a 1. So I can use 5. That's going to give me 1. 25 divided by 5 leaves me with 5. And finally, we use another 5. And that gives me my 1 and my 1. Now I know I'm done. So then how do I find the LCM? Well, the LCM, once we get our both of our 1s, our LCM comes from taking these numbers out in front of our half boxes, and we're actually going to multiply them together. So that is 4 2s, or 2 to the 4th power, and 2 5s, or 5 squared. Alright, so 2 to the 4th power is 16. 5 squared is 25. And so 16 times 25 is 400. So my LCM, my least common multiple of 16 and 50, is 400. Alright, let's try another one of those, just using numbers. So let's say we want to find the LCM of, this time we're going to add an extra number. So we're going to do 6, 9, and 15. Okay, so 3 numbers this time. So make my half box, 6, 9, and 15. Now I'm going to pick a number. So I'm going to use 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Alright, now again, it doesn't have to necessarily go into all of them, but at least has to go into one of them. So on this step here, I'm going to use a 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 does not go into 3 evenly or 5 evenly, so we keep both of those. Now I can use 3. We already have our 1 there. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 doesn't go into 5, so we keep it. And then last we use 5, and we have our 3 1s. So now to find our LCM, we're going to take these numbers here in front, and we're going to multiply them together. So we have 1 2, 2 3s, and 1 5. So that is 2 times 3 squared is 9 times 5. Multiply all this together. It gives us an LCM of 90. Alright, now let's add a little to it. So this time, let's say we want to find the LCM of 14x cubed and 98x to the 5th. Alright, so first things first, let's focus just on the numbers. Okay, let's don't pay attention to the variables yet. Let's just look at how we would do the numbers. So again, 14, 98, half box. Well, they're both even, so I'm going to use 2. So it leaves me a 7 and a 49. Now I can use 7. So I get a 1 and a 7. And now I use another 7, and that gives me 1 and 1. So now, if we take these numbers out in front to find our LCM, we get an LCM of 2 times 7, which is 49 times 2, which is actually 98. So number-wise, our LCM is 98. But in this case, we also have variables. When you have variables, to find your least common multiple between those variables, you use the highest exponent variable you have. So we have x cubed and x to the 5th. So we are going to have to take the highest one and we will use it. So x to the 5th. So my LCM is 98x to the 5th. All right, let's look at one more, and we will add a little bit more to this one as well. So this time, we're going to have some expressions. So find the LCM of v squared minus 4 and v squared plus 7v plus 10. All right, so when you have expressions involved, your first step to finding the least common multiple and eventually least common denominators is to factor. So we want to make sure each one of these expressions is completely factored. So on this left side, I can factor this into v plus 2, v minus 2 using difference of squares. And on this right side, we can factor this trinomial into v plus 2 and v plus 5. Again, two numbers multiplied to give me 10 is 2 and 5. They add to give me 7. Now, when you're going to find your LCM or your LCD of these expressions, your first step is to start with the first one and write it down exactly how you see it. So v plus 2 and v minus 2. Okay, write it down exactly how you see it. Next, we're going to go to the second one. The first factor I see is v plus 2. But if we look at our LCM, we already have a v plus 2, so then we do not need another one. Okay, we already have it. So we look at the second factor, v plus 5. We don't have a v plus 5, so then we do need to add that. And then that covers everything. All my factors are covered, and so that's my LCM between these two expressions. So again, when you have these expressions, to find your LCM, make sure each one is factored. Start with the first one, write it down exactly how you see it. Move to the next one. If you see a factor that you already have, you don't need it. If you see a factor that you don't have, then you need to include it. Once you do that, all the factors combined creates your LCM.